Your family stability starts with owning a home, in my humble opinion, even in certain times like this. But let's be real, rising rents, student loans, and groceries that can feel like gold bars, if you will, can make saving for a down payment feel impossible. But what if I told you that as of the recording of this video, you could buy a home with zero down? That's right, a zero down home loan. Stick with me now, because we're breaking down the truth, the myths, and exactly how families like yours can qualify. Hi, my name is Robert, and on this channel, we simplify the home loan process. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the zero down home loan programs that you might be hearing about. The dream versus reality of the zero down home programs. I'm here to tell you that it really can happen, but everyone does not qualify, and not every program is created equal. Quick stat here. The VA and the USDA home loan programs are still the only two true zero down home loan programs here in America. But there's new down payment assistance options as of the recording of this video, and grant programs as well that are being added to the mix as I speak. Now, here's the truth. Lenders love to advertise zero down, but everybody's not really telling the truth. When it comes to the fine print, you need to know what's hype and what's real. So let's break down some of these programs. VA, this is for veterans, active duty, and qualified surviving spouses. So this program is 100% financing, no down payment, no monthly mortgage insurance. And this is why I say to everybody that I come across that the VA loan is the best loan option that we have here in America. And if you're qualified, if you've earned that right, you need to do everything you can to use it because of everything I just aforementioned. When it comes to the residual income guidelines, this is the key to these loans, assuming everything else is in place, right? Income and credit. But lenders such as myself, we check to make sure that after all of your bills and expenses, that you have enough money left over for your family living expenses. So make sure that your lender has really qualified you and vetted your residual income requirements if you're going with VA. The second down payment loan, that's a true zero down home loan program, meaning there's no down payment for the loan, is the USDA loan, the Rural Development Program. And this is 100% financing, but it's restrictions that really get a lot of folks have to do with the income and the location of the property, because that's what determines if the home is in a USDA eligible area. So there's many USDA rural zones that are now available, including in suburban areas near growing cities. So families can qualify in places that they never thought possible. You gotta make sure that your lender is checking to see if a home or the location that you're looking to buy in is a USDA eligible area. This program is best for low to moderate income households, and those, again, that are either in rural settings or right outside of big cities, big metros. The USDA program, what I want to say just as another tip with this program, that you got to realize that if you have a lot of resources or monies, you're not going to be qualified for this loan, even if you're qualified. Even if the house is qualified and you have the income requirements, if you got more than 20% in the bank, they ain't going to let you do it, because this is for folks that are low to moderate income. Your lender of choice should be able to express and explain to you what that definition means. Okay. The third way is by using down payment assistance programs, either on the city, county, state, or national level. There's a lot of down payment assistance programs out here today. These aren't technically zero down loans, but they can help you cover down payment and or closing costs. And the few grants that are out here, I guess we could call those zero down, because if there's no repayment and they're fully forgivable, but those programs are going to be a little harder for the masses to get into because of the income restrictions. They're trying to protect those that, don't have the means. But there's plenty of those programs available. Like I said, grants, forgivable loans, and deferred payment loans. You have some states that offer up to 5% of the purchase price as assistance, either in the form of a grant, if they're available, silent second, okay, that might be repayable, one that might be forgivable. All right. So there's a lot of different flavors. In the state of Texas, you have the two most popular programs, in my opinion, as the acronym is TSHAC, TSACHS, TSHAC, and the TDHCA, Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. They both offer a robust offering of down payment assistance programs. If you qualify, you need to get with your lender, and they should be able to walk you through that process when you're applying. A fourth option, not as it pertains to down payment for zero down, but the closing costs. This is the part that a lot of people don't talk about. But if you've been on the radar to purchase a house over the last couple of years, you're probably comfortable or have heard of the term seller funded or seller concessions. And those concessions can be used to help you either your down payment in some scenarios and or your closing costs for sure. There's recent studies that suggest over 75% of those of you that have qualified to use the VA home loan benefit, aka your certificate of eligibility, don't use that benefit. The reason the majority of people don't use it is because of lack of awareness, understanding of the loan benefits, and then the perceived higher cost for non-VA loans. If you've earned that benefit, you should be using it. If you know of anybody in your circle or your family who has that ability but has been told not to, reach out so we can make sure that you can get what it is that you deserve. So just be leery of those lenders that are out here promoting 0% or 100% or 0% down, 100% financing, because a lot of lenders, what they do is they'll price the loan to where you have a higher rate. It's called premium pricing, and then use that difference, that delta, to then pay for closing costs that you might have to pay for. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing or wrong, but just make sure you run the numbers and you understand where those monies are coming from, because nothing's free. Okay. So always run your numbers. Now, who qualifies and who doesn't? This is what we want to go into. So again, if it's a VA loan, active duty servicemen, veterans, surviving spouses that qualify for the program. If you're looking for a USDA loan, as far as the USDA is concerned, it's a first-time homebuyer program. Okay, and there's income requirements as well as asset requirements, I would say. And when I say first-time homebuyer, you can't have multiple USDA loans. Let me put it that way. Okay, who doesn't qualify? Again, if you have a lot of income and or assets, these programs really aren't designed for you. I won't say that. What I'll say is you need to get with your lender, and your lender could vet and let you know which programs are available to you, because the two Texas programs that I mentioned, the qualifying income amounts in a lot of counties are over $100,000. So I won't say what I was going to say. I would just say you need to get with a lender that you know, like, and trust, and they can explain what programs you do and don't qualify for. And that's something that they should be doing every time you apply. If you have higher income limits, higher asset limits, you might want to be leery, but still go forward and inquire, because you don't know until you know. Those with credit challenges, as always, I mean, if your credit is challenged, you got to get your credit together, right? Get that together before you even reach out and apply. Yeah, I think that's what we'll say as far as that. Last thing I'll say as well, even if you don't qualify for a zero down home loan, you may qualify for a low down payment home loan. Loan down payment options, such as some of the conventional loans, depending on if you're a first-time home buyer or not, but you can get in with as little as 3% down if you're a first-time home buyer, or 5% down if you're not. So don't be discouraged on that. That's why you go through the process to see what it is that your information, your specific scenario garner. Okay. Now, what else do we want to say? How should you prepare to be successful in your endeavor to secure a zero down home loan? And so I think the first step is for you to know what your eligibility is. If you're a veteran, do you have that certificate of eligibility? If you don't, your lender should be able to help you find that. Those that work with me, not a problem. But if you need to have that DD 214 member 4 copy, and we could determine your eligibility, right? You want to determine credit-wise where you are, the location of the home, and the income. These are the first things that you want to make sure you have a clear picture of to determine what programs you should go after or if you qualify for any. Okay. You want to check your credit scores. I'm going to say mid 600s. Certain programs have lower scores, but here's the deal with the credit score. I'm thinking of one FHA down payment program that will provide the 3.5%. The minimum credit score is 600, but the lower the score, the higher their interest rate. The scores are a measure for risk. So just keep that in mind. The lower the score, the higher their interest rate. When you apply, your lender should be able to point you in the right direction. And then number 3, something you should be doing always, but you want to budget for potential hidden costs. Even if you get into this house with zero money out of pocket, it doesn't mean that there won't be any monies out of pocket. Let me explain. Once you find and secure a contract on a home, you have to hopefully do an inspection. Hopefully you guys are doing inspections. That's a cost. That's a cash outlay. The loan side, once you find that house, do the inspection, then you say you're going to move forward to purchase it, the appraisal, that's an upfront fee. But an upfront fee, you'll be credited at the time of closing, but that's a cost up front. You got moving costs. You have utility hookup costs. My point is this: you got to have some money when you're buying a home, even if you're blessed to get into one without any monies out of pocket. Once you have those things, your next most important step is to reach out to the lender that you know, like, and trust, so you can be properly approved. And when you go house shopping, you could do so with confidence and know that all the I's have been dotted and all the T's have been crossed, so that when you find that house, a got you from the financing side is not going to pop up because you've done that due diligence. The truth about 0% down payment home loans is that it's real and it's powerful, but it's not for everyone. If you do qualify, this could mean skipping years of having to save. You can get in now opposed to later and get on to the property ladder today. My time is up, but I thank you for yours. As I always say, let's be good to one another. Let grace abound. And until the next time, indeed. Oh, check this video out right over here. Y'all be blessed.